Hello, what is up, Team Zoot? Welcome to Ferrell Swim Tech. My name is John Ferrell, and this is the live stream where I help you get faster by using everything I've learned over a 15-year swimming career plus 12 years of individual private stroke coaching. Today's episode is going to be a grab bag about all the different training aids you should be using. Now, this is not a comprehensive list of everything that's out there because, my gosh, yeah, no, there are so many things out there that you could be using, but rule number 5, just because you can doesn't mean you should. I'm going to tell you everything that you should be doing in order to get better, and I'm going to kind of break it down. I'll talk about each individual item, and I'll kind of break it down in terms of ability levels, what you should be focusing on with the training aids, what you should be avoiding with the training aids. I got to do one more thing. I always forget to do this, especially for this episode. Take off the autofocus or it's going to get really annoying really quick. So this is mostly going to be about training aids. I will talk a little bit about kind of some other stuff that you should be thinking about. But things like goggles, I'm not going to go in depth in goggles. I have my own episode about goggles. I actually, in terms of streams, I actually did a pretty comprehensive goggles stream a couple months ago. So if you're curious about goggles, check out that stream. This is more in terms of like actual training aids, kickboards, pool buoys, paddles, fins, snorkels, stuff like that. Yeah. So by the way, before we get started, I just want to let you know, I am doing in-person lessons all throughout the winter. If you live in the California region, or if you have a business trip out to California, I've had a couple people have done this over the past. If you want to get together with me for a training, a stroke technique, ferrellswimtech@gmail.com, as well as any other swim inquiries. I had a wonderful conversation about wetsuits this week with someone over the email. So if you have any swim question whatsoever, come check this out. Check me out on Instagram. I'm trying to film more stuff on Instagram for kicks and giggles. And then Ferrell Swim Tech on YouTube, Ferrell Swim Tech on Rumble. Go check out those pages there. Full archive of everything that I've done, plus all of the swim technique reviews that I've done. Go check them out there. So let's get started. So first and foremost, you need a bag to put all your stuff in. Okay. This is my bag. It's just a tier big old mesh bag. By the way, Zoot, not a bad idea to think about selling a gear bag. Might want to get on that. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Oh, by the way, full disclosure, no, I am not paid by Rumble to do this. Rumble. Call me. I actually know some of the higher guys at Rumble because of the Discord, but that's besides the point. I am not paid by Zoot to do these streams. I am just an affiliate member. I do this just for kicks and giggles. I asked very nicely and they said yes. So full disclosure. So you may be seeing stuff that aren't Zoot stuff. And yeah, I'm not paid by Zoot to do this. This isn't like an infomercial or anything. Anything that I talk about is stuff that I've personally used or things that I am looking to purchase personally. Yeah, so we'll just get that out of the way. This by no means is a paid endorsement by Zoot. So gear bag. I like this tier bag. I bought it because of the colors. Gear bags are gear bags. I mean, pick what looks pretty and go with it. Couple nice things about mesh bags though. Keeps everything nice. The mesh, everything drains out pretty nicely, dries out super quick. I never take this stuff out of my bag. Since it's so airy, everything dries in there. I've never worried about it. I used to put all my stuff in my normal gear bag and just take it out, take it over. But since I sometimes go running on the track right before workout, I don't want to have all of my wet swim gear, getting my shoes and my other stuff super wet. So having a separate bag is nice, but you have to carry a separate bag, and some pool decks don't let you have the gear bags. So first off, check with your local pool. See if you don't have this stuff and like this is your, oh, what should I buy? What should I buy? Okay. First and foremost, check with your pool. I know that there are pools that don't allow gear on deck. So make sure wherever you're swimming, they're super cool with that. That's number one. Number two, sometimes they don't let bags on the deck. Okay, for security reasons, they're not cool with bags. Go to the management, check with the lifeguard. One second. So check with the lifeguard. Check and see what's allowed on your pool deck. Okay, so gear bag, easy. Go pick your favorite one. I like Tears bag, but that's just me. All right, now in terms of toys, I believe there are 4 things that every beginner swimmer should have in their arsenal. Kickboard, pull buoy, okay? Those 2 are must-haves. Just overall for training, honestly, for any level. Kickboard, pull buoy, you're spending about $40-50. You are set for life, okay? You buy quality, and quality is about $20 to $30, somewhere in that region. Zoot's offerings are $20 each for kickboard and pull buoy. Most other places, you're going to be spending anywhere between $10 to $20 for each of those things. Honestly, stay away from the $10 ones because they're usually pretty crap. But I've had Zoot stuff for a couple years. I've had my kickboard. I'll show you my kickboard. I've had that thing since college. It's bomb-proof. So if you buy good quality stuff, you're not going to spend that much money, but you're going to use it for years and don't even think about it, okay? So next we get into snorkel and fins. Snorkel and fins are kind of the absolute must-haves if you are learning stroke technique, okay? We'll get into those in a minute, but we're going to start with kickboards, okay? Kickboards, there's lots of different kinds of kickboards that you can get, okay? I, for many, many, many years, used a kind of a closed cell foam. Shout out to Poco Loco, by the way. If you live in the Provo area, go check them out. If they're still in business, because I don't know. Right next to BYU, wonderful swim shop. The mother of a guy I swam with owns the shop, or owned the shop. I don't know if she still owns it. I mean, it's been 10 years. But closed cell foam, really hard, really dense, really stiff. Okay, this is a stiff kickboard. Works super well. This is a Zoot's kickboard when they first did their kickboard. Now, the difference is this one is pretty squishy. It's made out of the same material they make their pull buoys with. So, looks pretty stylish, looks cool. Now, what's the difference? I mean, you can also go to... Oh, yeah, that's right. If I do that, I gotta go. There you go. Now that crops. So if you go to a place like swimoutlet.com and you start looking through all their kickboards, you're gonna see a lot of different stuff. So the Speedo Team kickboard, that's basically what this is. It's a hard kickboard and it works super good. Now, one other thing you're going to see is you're going to see Funkalicious shaped kickboards. Now, kickboards like this and like this, they're called Tombstone. So these are Tombstone style kickboards. I like Tombstone style kickboards. I don't necessarily like kickboards like this. I mean, these are extreme shapes. If you check out Zoot's current, this is Zoot's current kickboard that they sell on the site. So it's a little bit like this shape. The nice thing about that shape is that it helps promote more of a streamlined kick position. Zoots is fine. This is not that much of a variant from the standard Tombstone. So basically, it would be about this much wider. You're coming in about an inch or so, whereas when you look at this one tapers big time. Now, and these hybrid pull buoy kickboards, don't bother, please. You shouldn't bother it with them. They're just not. And then like this hydrofoil kickboard, this pull buoy kickboard, yeah, I 100% recommend you stay away from them. This Soul Cap, this is the most similar to this. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, like this Pool Master, avoid that. Don't buy that. Same thing with this One Swim Hyper Kickboard. Don't buy that. So there's just, there's a lot of stuff out there that's gimmicks. Pool buoy kickboards, they're not going to float you enough. They're not, I can't recommend those at all. I had a friend who used those back in college, but that was like legitimately just to save space. Not worth it. They're not enough buoyancy, not cool with it. So hard kickboards are going to float you better than squishy kickboards, just because of the buoyancy ratings of, really hard foam as opposed to, or closed cell foam rather than, kind of a more squishy foam. So how do you use kickboards? Okay. Using kickboards is one easy way to screw up your body position. Let's be honest here. I have a video of me using kickboards. So we're going to drag you off. Going to go back to analysis. Here we go. So this was filmed back in 2020. Back when Zoot first came out with the kickboard. So first thing I want you to notice, long extension with the arms. Oh, by the way, I am actually grabbing it through this. So there's a couple, actually, no, let's talk about the positioning first, then we'll go into the funky things that you can do. Okay, so long extension, legs are super long, okay? So one thing that I've seen on lots of different places all over Facebook looking at different triathlon groups are people talking about how, quote, I move backwards with my kickboard. I cannot move forward with my kickboard. I pull faster than I swim. If you are in this category, you need to kick like this, okay? What I've been working more with young children. I mean, I'm talking about like 4 and 5 year olds on swimming. And something that I've been working with them is practicing what I call tippy toe kicking. So imagine that you're on your tippy toes. Imagine your mom put all your candy from Halloween on top of the fridge, and you're just reaching on your tippy toes, trying to reach up to the fridge. That's tippy toe kicking, okay? You want to think of that position. You want to think long, super long, you're reaching to the sky. I highly, highly 100% recommend you go back to the kicking video, watch it again, watch it again. You should be dedicating legitimately a month to kicking technique. If you do that, your swim will vastly improve super quickly just because you're focusing on your kick technique, okay? Even if you're doing heavy run and bike, focus on your kick technique. Doesn't take a lot of leg strength. It just takes a lot of visualization and backwards kickboard equals me. Yes. Yeah, I have heard a lot of people talking about that. Typically, it's because you bend the knee. If you bend the knee, you're actually pushing water forward. So if you push down with your knee, and I think, I'm sorry, I'm going to go too much into kicking theory. go back and watch the video. But when you're kicking, you should be like this, okay? Head somewhat close to the water, long arms, reach forward with the arms. What you don't want to do is you don't want to be here. You don't want to be here and kicking. So you're here and you're kicking like this. No. You want to be long and elongated. Basically, you want to be like this. Think about reaching the kickboard over your head, hold over the top, reach over the head, okay? So that's your standard kicking position. Now, if you're really, really, really bad with your kicking position, I actually recommend hold the bottom of the board and extend that above your head, okay? So extend it above your head so you're like this. And you're going to kick with your face in the water. Lift your face up, put it back in the water, kick, 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 kick. What you're really looking to do is kick without bending the knee. And honestly, it may be to where you don't move anywhere just because you're moving your legs. Lock the hips, don't bend the knees, long with the kickboard. Now, I told you that Zoot's older kickboard has these little holes in them. They don't really sell this kickboard anymore. But if you're looking at this is actually really good for side kicking. If you're kicking on your side, that's actually a really good idea to incorporate this a little bit, especially if you're learning breathing technique, and you're having problems staying on your side. This is really a good idea. So I hold the board like this, so this helps sink it into the water, and it's just a nice hand grip. Little hard to hold it like this because it'll flip up. So then if you have this grip, you can kind of grip it downward, so then it'll lock into place a little bit easier. Other than that, there's not too much to do with kicking. Okay, actually, here's another thing. If you're advanced, if you're 130 or faster, a fun thing you can do is tombstone kicking, where you plant your board in the water and you kick with extra resistance. I know I made some of you people faint. Well, it's the day after Halloween. You gotta bring the spooks coming. If you really want to trick yourself, go kicking like this. Okay. All right, that's about it for kickboards. Kickboards, pretty cheap. We're talking $20-$30. These kickboards, this one literally I have had for 10 plus. I think about 15 years at this point. Yeah, almost 15 years. I've had this one since 2020-ish. Both still in great condition, still work great. Buy them once, use them forever. Okay, next, pull buoy. So, pull buoys, this is Zoot's pull buoy. I love this thing. This thing is great. There are a lot of different pull buoys that you can look at. I'm going to pull up what swimoutlet.com has for pull buoys. So a lot of pull buoys you're going to find are going to be like this sporty one. Kind of looks like a bunch of layers. And honestly, you keep looking at pull buoys, you're like, wait, they're all the same. They're all the same. Certain ones have slightly different dimensions. Like the Speedo. The Speedo one is similar to Zoot's one. Basically, if you have these sporty ones and the tier one on this upper one, they're basically symmetrical. There is no front and back. Basically, small part near your crotch, big part near your butt. Don't mix up the two, especially for dudes. Uncomfortable. Leave it at that. Okay. One that you should avoid is this. Don't buy a pull buoy like this. This is a very old construction pull buoy. The foam is scratchier than all get out. I used to get rashes from these all the time when I was a kid. They suck. don't buy them. Just avoid them at all costs. You may find these at your pool, but I guarantee you they're older than 20 years, and don't use them. Just avoid them at all costs. Ankle pull buoys, no, don't buy that. You do not want that. Trust me. This is an advanced swimmers only pool buoy. You're going to have a bad time if you try that. Let me see here. What else do they got? You see, you're going to see a lot of these kick pull buoys. Don't avoid those. Avoid stuff like this. This is an advanced pull buoy. Don't do that. Okay. Yeah, don't buy that. That's a gimmick. This is a big time gimmick. Don't buy it. Now, another one that I've seen are actual like hard plastic pull buoys that you can dial in the buoyancy of by adding water to it. I'd avoid that too. Just because, honestly, from my opinion, more buoyancy is better when it comes to pull buoys. Your body weight's going to pull it down into the water, so don't worry about it. So okay, so let's talk about what pull buoys do. But like as you can see, most are about the same. You know, these are all the same shape. These are all basically the same shape. So, pull buoys, they go around your legs. They go around, just right below your butt. So, you go right there. Okay? See? There. They go right there. And then you squeeze your legs together, and then you pull. So, what these do is these provide buoyancy to your lower body so you can pull with your upper body. Couple tips that I like to do. I like to try and cross my ankles. I don't do it as much as I used to. If you have the flexibility to do so, highly recommended to cross your ankles while you pull. Just makes life easier to roll onto your sides while you're practicing rotation. But yeah, that's about it. Honestly, good to pair with paddles and snorkel. Good to really hone in, especially when you wear your snorkel, hone in on that pull technique, elbow out, hand in, so you can really kind of focus what you're doing with your arms. Pretend you're at the ocean looking at fishies while you're looking at your hands pull below you. Okay, so now we're going to pull up my pulling video. Okay, I think... Oh, yeah, here's my pulling video. So this is pulling with paddles. 1 second. Got to resize this video. And, okay, so you'll know that I've used this video before. There you go. Analysis mode. All right. Get this bigger. There you go. And go. So, you see me use this before. No kick with the leg. I'm using the pull buoy. My ankles are actually crossed in this. So you're just isolating the legs. Don't cheat. Please don't cheat when you're using your pull buoy. Don't kick. So as you're pulling, isolating the legs. If your feet are dry, because if you look here, my feet are 100% underwater. That's fine. There's no problem with that. You want to just don't use the legs, okay? Now, like I said, there are some people who say, if I pull with a pull buoy, I'm actually faster than when I'm swimming. That means you need to put the pull buoy away and work on kicking. I'm dead serious. Spend a month, work on kicking every single workout. I am serious. If you are pulling faster than you swim, spend a full month, work on that kick 100%. Don't, do some swim to warm up, do some swim to cool down, maybe do a couple hundred swimming in the middle of it. Kick, 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 kick. Review the kick video. I can't stress this enough. Your life will be so much better in the pool if you swim faster than you pull, okay? Okay, so, I mean, realistically, there's not much more to say about that. Zoot's pool buoy is this one right here. Same one that I got in my hand. It's $20. It's going to do just fine. Yeah, I mean, I would say this one is more buoyant than like this tier or the sporty or the arena. So I don't know, maybe if you're a smaller female, you may want to look into the smaller pool buoy just because it may be slightly too buoyant, but it's $20. I mean, you know, and with the Zoot discount, you're looking somewhere between $14-15 plus shipping. I can't go wrong. Seriously. All right. So now that we've talked about pool buoys, we are going to talk about paddles. Now, paddles come in all different flavors, shapes, and sizes, just like I'm showing you right here. I have used all three of these paddles. Let's go back to full camera. Okay, so I have used all of these paddles a lot before. These two paddles, two pairs of paddles were my go-tos during college. I use these for general purpose training. You saw me use them in the film. These are actually a special, holy crap, this has a lot of holes paddles. I actually use these for backstroke specific training. I actually put, don't want that clicking. I actually put loops, my coach put loops right through here. And then I would hold it like this. Actually, no, like this. So then it would actually create more drag when I did backstroke and pushing forward like that. There will be stroke technique videos on all 4 strokes. So wait for those days. So square paddles, these are the absolute most basic paddle you can buy. I actually started back in the day on square Speedo paddles. They come with straps. I don't have my straps on right now on this one. You slide your fingers into the straps. You hold the paddles and you swim. Well, if you have the straps on right, you don't have to hold them. I have to hold these ones. And then you swim and pull. The idea of paddles is that they basically increase your hand surface area. And then with mechanics, you have bigger surface area on your hands. All right. See you later, Paul. You have bigger surface area on your hands. With the bigger surface area, you are forced to exert more force in order to be able to pull at the same speed. Okay. Simple physics. Bigger hands, bigger hand area, more force required to pull the water backwards. Now, one huge warning. One huge warning. Do not buy these paddles to start. Do not buy large Gigantar paddles. If you are starting with paddles, please buy the smaller area paddle, okay? For comparison's sake, okay? Buy the paddle with the smaller area to start, okay? Use these paddles for about, I don't know, a couple months at least to get your shoulders built up, okay? The number one way to wreck your shoulders is to go big and then go hard. No, absolutely not. You will injure yourself. 100% you will injure yourself. I developed bicep tendonitis because I did a massive weight workout in college, and then I went crazy, go nuts with the paddles. Don't. It sucks. It's not fun. My bicep tendonitis does tend to flare up after a lot of pulling. Okay, let's see here. Swim paddles. There we go. So let me show you. Let's see. Yep, there you go. Let me show you what Swim Outlet's got. So paddles like these contour paddles, those are very similar to what Zoot offers. I will talk about those in a minute. Stroke Maker swim paddles, I actually used those as a kid. Those are kind of similar to the Catalyst. Agility paddles, no, don't. That's a gimmick. You see, you'll see Finnis kind of goes crazy with what they sell. Tier Catalyst, that's a very standard one. These are the Catalyst 2.0s. Webbed fitness gloves, avoid, don't. They're not worth it. They're not that great. Okay. Freestyler hand paddles, these kind of like the fulcrum paddles, hand paddles, avoid those. Those are gimmicks. Those are for higher end swimmers. Don't bother with them. Okay. Actually, no, those are just normal paddles. Never mind. Okay, once again, Finnis, weird stuff, avoid. Let's see here. Anything else that's weird? Resistance gloves, avoid. You don't need those. Bolster, once again, Finnis, weird crap. Avoid it. Yeah, hydro grip blades, avoid those. You don't need any of that stuff. One swim paddle set. Okay. All right. Okay. There's actually one thing that I wanted to show you, and it was something that came on my radar. Let's see here. Let's see, Magic 5. So Magic 5 just ran a massive blitz on let's see here. Let's see if they there you go. Okay. They ran a massive ad blitz about they're offering kickboards and pull buoys. Honestly, kickboard and pull buoy, same thing you can buy at Zoot. If you want Magic 5 on your pull buoy, knock yourself out. But these finger paddles are different. Okay? These are different. These are paddles that literally are about this big. Okay? This is not a bad way to get into pulling with paddles. This is actually not a bad idea. Obviously, I am not sponsored by Magic 5. I have issues with their goggles, but that is more of a personal thing and a financial thing. But in terms of quality, their goggles are great. But with regards to these paddles, not many other places offer paddles like this. Basically, it's like if you took the paddle, instead of having the full hand, it's only about this low that I can tell. So this focuses more on good finger posture, instead of being able to push down with the palm of your hand, potentially splaying your hand out like this. You have to keep your fingers together in order to pull with that. This is actually not a bad idea. I don't know if I'm going to spend that money on them. I may do it for research purposes. Magic 5, if you want to send me a set, go right on ahead. I will not refuse them. But this is not a bad idea. Not a bad idea for your first paddle. So, okay, so let's talk about what we do with paddles, okay? So I'm going to use the Zoot paddle for this demonstration. So with the Zoot paddle, this one actually has an interesting strap configuration. So this is how to properly use the straps. So you put one on your first one around your first two fingers, the other one around the other two fingers. This is the standard way to actually use these straps with this paddle. Now, this is also configured to where you can go finger only. This is really good for reinforcing good hand entry, because if you have your hand entry like this and you pull like that, it's going to snap out and it's not going to feel good. Not going to hurt you, but not going to feel good either. Or so if you come in like this and then drag like that and then bring your hand down, it's not going to be a good time. So good hand entry positioning, push backwards, come, good hand entry positioning. Not a bad way to train that. So these contour paddles, as you can see, this one, I'm 6'2". I kind of have smallish hands. I think I don't have big hands. So this is how it looks with my hand. You can see it doesn't have that much material outside of it. This is actually a really good paddle to start with. Ladies, if you have very small hands, if you're a petite female, I very much so recommend, let's go back to here. Let's see here. I very much so recommend you look at a paddle like this and you look at the extra small. If I would look at the extra small, so if they sell extra smalls, I would look into that. Basically avoid the big uns. Avoid the big uns, go smaller. Ladies, look for specifically an extra small paddle. All the major manufacturers sell them. They usually sell them in all different sizes. Like if you look at this Power Plus, you can select your size, small, medium, large, extra large. They all come in different sizes. They should come with somewhat, I don't know if they come with sizing charts. They all show dimensions. Length and width. Length is the length of your hand this way. Width is this way. Just kind of draw a square out to that size and put your hand on it. You basically want your hand comfortably. You want the paddle around your hand. You don't want it to be inside of your hand. So if you're like a dude and you got big hands, you're probably going to want to start with mediums to large. That's probably going to be about where you're going to want to land. Zoot's paddles are a one-size paddle. So check the dimensions on that. Probably you can't really go wrong with this unless you're a tiny female or you're a big dude. These might be too small if you're a big guy. Might be a little on the large side if you're a small female. And then by the way, the other reason why I like Zoots is that it's very watch friendly. This paddle, the tiers are not watch friendly because as you can see here, here's the watch band, here's the bottom of the paddle. So yeah, maybe the smaller paddle will be nicer. So yeah, this is how my hand looks with the bigger paddles. Okay, notice how much more surface area there is outside, much increased amount of force in order to pull with those paddles. So when you start with paddles, take your time. Don't worry about strength first. Worry about feel. I legitimately would go about 75 to 60% power, maybe even 50% power, for at least the first month. Now, there was a question that someone posted on Facebook, and that is Della. Della is a Team Zoot member. She posted on the Facebook post. By the way, Tuesdays, I post those. I post something about the upcoming swim stream. And so the question is, how much should I incorporate paddles in a 1 hour swim? Personally, I believe you should wear paddles whenever you use a pull buoy. Okay, there's one instance outside of pulling that you should be using paddles, and that is if you want to go fins plus paddles. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But fins plus paddles is a really great way to get a lot of speed very quickly. Um, Honestly, it's going to put a lot more stress on the body in terms of your upper body, but with the fins, you're going to have a lot more in the legs, so you can get away with moving a lot faster. We used to go fins plus paddles when we were really going for speedy work. We're talking 50s. Yeah, we're talking like speed 50s. So, yeah. But when you're using pull buoys, not a bad idea to throw on the paddles, get a little bit of upper body strength work in. Just remember, the whole idea of the paddle is to focus on more pressure on the arms, okay? Just because you got a much bigger hand, still focus your pressure here on the forearm, just like we talked about on the pulling. We talked about this on the pulling video. Put that pressure on your forearm. Let the increased surface area work your muscles, not your shoulders, okay? If you kind of feel a pressure here in the shoulder when you're pulling, you're not pushing with the right area of force. Take it easy. Work into it. I would say start with hundreds. Don't go long distances with paddles until you build up to it, okay? Start with hundreds, go to 200s, go to 400s, go to 800s. So build up your distances. Think of pulling like running, okay? Pulling with paddles is like running. You don't want to go throw on paddles and pull a mile, just like you don't want to go from the couch and run a half marathon. Okay? Not going to be a good time. You're going to hate your shoulders. Your shoulders are going to despise you. Don't do it. What about fulcrum for your forearms? Honestly, the fulcrum, I had a student that used the fulcrum paddles. I'm kind of mixed on that. The reason why I'm mixed on that is because realistically, this is all you need to do for your forearms. I view that as more of a sprinter kind of a thing where you're really going to be digging in with your arms at high velocities. And I will openly admit I don't have a lot of experience with it. Just looking at it, looking at what it's used for, I feel like standard paddles are going to be a lot more bang for your buck. If you want to buy the fulcrum paddles, be my guest. I just don't recommend it unless you're more of an advanced swimmer, because that's kind of an advanced piece of, not advanced, but it's a higher skill level than just using standard paddles. I don't know. I would legitimately have to use them and see what they do, because I've only gotten secondhand information on those paddles. So, Kathy, sorry, I don't have more information on that. I kind of view fulcrum paddles as a little bit of a gimmick. Other people might have different opinions. Might not be a bad idea to ask around with other swimmers, other coaches that have actually used them. Okay, so need to move on. We're going to move on to snorkels. Snorkels. So we're moving on to snorkels since they are really, really related to pull buoys. Snorkels there's only one real basic shape to the snorkel. Let's be honest. It's the only one that you're really going to want to use. What you want to avoid is you want to avoid like snorkeling snorkels, like I'm going to Hawaii and I'm going to go snorkels, because the one off to the side, it's really going to flex and be super annoying. If you kind of notice, the mouthpiece is 90 degrees to my mouth. That's because this is how these snorkels are supposed to go. These are nicknamed the Rhino snorkels. You want the Rhino snorkels. That's exactly what you want. So going over to swimoutlet.com, swim snorkels. Okay. So if you look over here, this is the one that I bought. You're going to see a lot of different styles. They're all basically the same. Honestly, I recommend one that's got these little... You don't need to have the purge valve. This is the purge valve down here. Honestly, they don't work that great. So, hold up. Got a gunk in my eye. So, yeah. So, this is a standard snorkel. Don't buy that. You don't want it. Oh, they do sell replacement head brackets. That's fantastic. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't buy that. That's not worth it. These are the ones that you're going to want. The Finis. Now, the difference between something like this, so a dry top, this is kind of a one-way valve. It helps keep water out of your snorkel. This is not a necessity. It's not a bad idea. Not a necessity. You can see like the Tier Snorkel Elite. This one has a bit of of that valve on it. Let me check and see if that is what it is. No, it's not. It's just a piece of plastic. Never mind. So basically between these two, you can't go wrong. I use this one. So how do you use snorkels? So snorkels, you're going to wear them like a second set of goggles. They're going to hang out right here on your forehead. So let's say I am wearing my goggles. Here's my Form goggles. By the way, bungee straps. You can put bungee straps on Form goggles. I love bungee straps. Anyone that knows me knows I love my bungee straps. So if I'm wearing my Form goggles, you're going to pop your snorkel on. Just above it, your goggles are going to share space on the hook. This is imagine meeting your spouse in this getup. All right, so that's how you put those on. By the way, update your Form goggles, head coach, out now. Just like Mark talked about with Scott on last Friday. Updates out. Update your goggles. Okay, so basically with the snorkel, the way you want to use the snorkel is especially if you're 145 or slower, you must buy this. Like absolutely 100% buy this. So you're just going to put this on your face. You're going to put your face in the water and you're going to swim. Breathe naturally through this. Now, this brings up a question from Karen, who asked yesterday, how do I use a snorkel without feeling like I can't breathe? Thank you. So, breathing while snorkeling is a skill. Okay? You cannot, just like going snorkeling is a skill. My wife told me, I kind of mentioned that comment to her yesterday. She told me, yeah, it's hard for me to go snorkeling. I have to relax myself in order to go. So if you buy a snorkel for the first time, this is what you do. This is how you get used to it. If you're already used to snorkeling, if you go snorkeling, once every couple of years, you're comfortable in the ocean, you're comfortable with your face in the water, you're not going to really have a problem. If you live in the middle of the country and you have never gone snorkeling before, you're going to have problems, okay? So prepare for this. Prepare. It's not that hard. It's actually pretty easy. Okay, you want to get yourself to somewhere in your pool that you are comfortable. Basically, standing in the shallow end, sitting on the stairs, okay? we're literally going back to basics here. You're going to pop your snorkel on. Okay, first off, get it adjusted. You want your snorkel to be nice and snug around your head. If it's too loose, it's going to wiggle, it's going to wobble around, it's not going to be a good time. At first, don't worry about that, okay? First thing you want to do is you want to be comfortable breathing through the snorkel, okay? So get in the shallow end, keep your face above water, put this on, and then okay, not that intense. I'm doing that so you can actually hear it through the microphone. Okay, so your tip is you want to breathe in through the mouth, breathe out the mouth. Keep your nose as, air-free as possible. I use nose plugs when I use my snorkel. Now, there are some people who think this is cheating. I do not. I have never been good at swimming. I use snorkels almost every single practice during college. Hold on. Oh, crap. I inhaled something. Hold on. All right. So I use snorkels like literally every day during college. I use nose plugs every day when I use my snorkel. I also use nose plugs for backstroke. So, go for it. Nose plugs. Quick thing about nose plugs. There are a ton of different flavors of nose plugs. Here I have 3 flavors right here. Each of them have different stiffnesses. Each of them, all of them have differences. I do not recommend wearing nose plugs when you swim freestyle. Oh my gosh, why is this thing killing my throat? I hate it when you get those tickles, especially when you're live. No, I don't recommend nose plugs when swimming normal freestyle. I only recommend nose plugs. Oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. Man, wow, that is super annoying. Man, I hope that stops. That'd be great. So with nose plugs, don't use them with normal freestyle. Use them with snorkels. Just because you don't want to seal your nose off, you want to have the option to breathe out through your nose. I use them for backstroke. Even my high tier competitions, I use nose plugs for backstroke. One less thing you got to worry about. So nose plugs, lots of different shapes, lots of different flavors. I use them basically every time I use my snorkel. Something I do is I take a towel and I wipe my nose off, get all the oil and crap off your nose. If you don't really care, if your skin isn't that sensitive, I recommend something like OxyPad, something with a little bit of salicylic acid, in order to really get all that oil off your nose. Just going to make the nose plug stick a lot easier to them because it just has a little bit of rubber on the insides. So just everyone's nose is different. There is no one nose plugs fits all for people. So buy a couple different types, try them out. Basically, just stay in the shallow end. Put your nose underwater. If you can breathe in and you can't feel any air going through your nostrils, you got a good pair. So test them out in the shallow end. Put your face underwater. Get inverted if you want to go crazy. But anyway, so back to the snorkel. So get into the shallow end. Put your face underwater. Breathe normally. Just get used to breathing with your face in the water with the snorkel. No swimming. Okay? Standing, sitting, breathe. Okay? So that's how you start. 100% do this. I don't care if you're an experienced snorkeler or not, get used to your snorkel. Then push off, swim nice and easy with the snorkel. Just take it easy to start with. Calm, comfortable. We're talking like 50% here. Okay. So, but yeah, snorkels are, if you're 145 or slower, use snorkels in order to focus on your arm pulling technique. 100% full stop. The nice thing about this is keeps your head nice and stable, so you can really focus on that without having to rotate your head to the side in order to breathe. This is going to be your best friend. Couple this with a pull buoy. You're going to be in stroke technique central for your arms. So review the arm technique. Get a snorkel, especially if you're going into the off season and you haven't used one of these before. These are going to be big time awesome for stroke technique work. Okay, so last but not least, we got fins. Now, fins are kind of one of the more controversial, in my opinion, of whether or not you should buy these. I have changed my opinion on fins over the past year. Fins are really good for putting everything together. If you are working on arm technique and you have a really bad kick, okay? Fins will help make up the difference. Now, I used to be anti-fin about a year ago until I went to Tridot Pool School down in San Diego. They want you to use fins when you're working on your technique, especially they talk about Pinocchio drill that they do. They want you to use fins when you're starting with this in order to actually generate speed with your legs so your upper body isn't as stressed. Personally, I would say use pull buoys, but using fins with the legs is actually a really good idea because I tried it for myself and it actually is a lot easier to work on the technique. For someone like me, I wouldn't recommend it. I would much rather say use the pull buoy if you're doing hardcore pulling technique. But if you're 145 or even 130, if you're slower than 130, using fins is not a bad idea. Okay, so let's talk about fins, because fins are the one item where you're going to get way too much of the wrong product, okay? So here you can see training, recreational, monofin, scuba and snorkeling, mermaid fins. If you get a mermaid fin, I'ma smack you. My daughter has a mermaid fin. They're really funny. Okay, so you're going to look and you're going to see fins like this. Fins like this, honestly, you should avoid, okay? I recommend you avoid these kinds of fins and you go more for these kinds of fins, okay? These fins are going to work your ankles and your calves a lot. These fins are going to work your quads and your hamstrings a lot. And they also promote much better kick technique as opposed to, stuff like this. There's the triathlon rubber swim fins. These are garbage. Do not buy them. They are not going to be good for you. Hydroblade fins, the Striker fins, the Striker silicone fin, that's actually very similar to what Zoot offers with their Ultra Swim fins. So I personally do not prefer the Ultra Swim fins. The silicone they use is too flexible for me personally. These fins are made by a company called Training Fins. They are out of business. I have been looking for these fins to replace these when they finally rip and go kaput. I have had these fins literally since 2007, 2006. You can see some definite material wear on the fins, but these are basically bomb-proof. I have been using these for the longest time, and these are my ultimate go-to fin. Zoot's fin is very similar to this, except the silicone for me is too flexible. I need a little bit more of a rigid rubber for my legs, but that is 100% a personal thing. For most average people, these fins will be just fine. One word of warning, though, these run a little large. So I purchased the large fins for myself. I probably should have gotten a medium. So double check the shoe size. If you're kind of in the upper, if you're in the lower area, well, even I would say figure out what size it is with your feet and then size down a size. I can't say if they're the small fins. I don't know. I don't know what to do. But at $35, it's not a bad thing, and you can buy them. If they don't work for you, donate them to someone. Like I donated my swim fins to a larger guy at the Tri-Dot Pool School. So I personally prefer something more like the Switchblade, the Striker, even the Hydroblade. This is the Hydroblade, this one. So Hydroblade, Power Fin. These are more of a bodyboarding fin. So flex fins, swim fins, these are not a good idea. Okay, so then the other end of the spectrum are these burner fins. This is more of a, oh crap, I can't remember what those are. Zoomers. These are like Zoomers. I don't like Zoomers. These are too small of a fin. You're not going to get anything out of it. This Essential Training Fin, this is going to be very flimsy rubber. Sporty is kind of a budget swim brand. Like I do not recommend, I absolutely detest their bungee straps, and I know I'm a bungee strap snob. But, I would recommend to stay away from Sporty in general. They're super budget, super low quality. So you can see a lot of these kind of standard snorkeling swim fins. I don't recommend them for training at all. Monofins, you're going to want to avoid the monofins. They will do nothing for you. That's really more for butterfly training, which most of you butterfly, you shudder. I used to use these Finnish shooter monofins. Oh, those are fun. So quick story about these. We actually had a diving tank at my university, and we would pop on these monofins, and we would set up those gymnastics foam mats at the side of the pool. And this is a deep gutter pool, so it was about a foot of elevation difference. So we would go deep, and then we would kick up, and we would launch ourselves out of the water like Shamu and put ourselves on the mat. That was a good time. Okay, let's see here. Okay, snorkeling fins, right out. Do not use snorkeling fins. They are absolutely the worst thing for training that you can do. They target all the wrong areas. It's just not a good idea. So looking at the highest rated products, there's a good reason all of these ones are the highest rated. This Dafin, this is actually probably the closest thing to what I am currently using. They're just good. My fins are just so dang good. I am so sad that company went out of business. I think it was an Australian company. I found them at Poco Loco, and they're super good. So these Strikers, this would be a good choice. I can't remember what was that fin that I got my buddies to buy. I got my buddies to buy a certain model of fin. I can't remember what they were off the top of my head. But anyway, these Seax. These are the ones that I will probably buy, after I'm done. after the fins that I have go kaput, these SEACs. These are legitimately the closest clone that I have found to these fins. They're stiff. They got just enough. They got a nice kind of a wide profile to them. I actually am going to buy this as my next fin. But that's my personal opinion. So, yeah. Okay. So, fins. How do we use fins? We use fins for a number of reasons. Reason number one is to add bonus to your legs, okay? If you are working on stroke technique and you want to start to incorporate it into your actual stroke, very much so recommend throwing the fins on, especially if you know that you do not have a good kick. This will help keep your lower body on top of the water, and will really help you just kind of work on integrating that pull technique into the full stroke. If you are on a strict recovery swim workout, not a bad idea to throw the fins on. Just take some stuff off your lower body, help you swim a little bit better if you just kind of want to get through swimming some yards. The fins, as opposed to the paddles, they actually make life a little bit easier for your legs. So if you're really doing recovery, not a bad idea to throw on the fins. Also, if you want to work on speed work, if you really want to work on getting those arms to move a lot faster, use the fins, because number one, if your legs are moving faster, your arm innately will go through the water much faster. I'm going to talk about this when I talk about sprinting. That's going to be a couple episodes in the future. I'm going to have a full stream dedicated to sprint technique. Help you develop that upper end speed, help drag that lower end up. Yeah, so fins, basically taking your kick and elevating it artificially. I do not recommend using fins for long distance swims. Unless you're going for how many yards can I swim in an hour with fins. If you're trying to say how many yards can I swim in an hour and then throw the fins on, you're cheating yourself. But yeah, fins, they're a really great idea, worth incorporating. Okay. All right. So let's see here. What do I got left? Oh yeah, that's right. So swim caps. Okay. Wanted to talk about swim caps briefly. Swim caps, ladies, wear swim caps unless you have like stupid short hair. Dudes, you shouldn't have hair long enough to need a swim cap. Okay, I'm traditional. I have had the same haircut since I was in kindergarten, okay? And it's been this. Except for 2-year bad hair day, I call a mission. Swim caps, please learn to put on your own swim cap. Easiest way to do it is put your hands in the swim cap, stretch it out to the side, back, forward, back, and there you go. Okay. Personally, I only wear swim caps when I race. I never train in swim caps. I hate them. I don't like them. But like I said, if you're a lady, the swim cap does not keep your hair dry. The swim cap just keeps your hair out of the way. Also reduces the drag that your hair implements on the water. So typically, so if you're wearing, I'll bust out my Magic 5 goggles. Wait, do I have goggle straps on these? Yeah, I do. Okay. So bungee straps. You'll notice a theme with me. I love my bungee strap. So if you're wearing your goggles and, oh, good Lord, these are too tight. Why are they so tight? There you go. So goggles and cap, make sure that you have your cap line set to where it's not going to interfere with the gasket of the goggles. That is a recipe for leaking big time. So for most people, you should be okay with putting your goggles on and split your goggle straps. I should have worn my other ones that are blue. So here's where my goggle straps sit on the cap. With goggles, you want to split. You never want to have your goggle straps. So both goggle straps are in a line. You always want to split your goggle straps, one higher on your head, one lower. So ladies, if you have a ponytail, if you're putting your hair in a bun to put in the swim cap, it's recommended to put your bun somewhere around here. You never want a high bun. You want it somewhere around here because you want to be able to put your goggles above and below it. So if you have a long hair, I don't know what to do for you because I don't have hair. That's just what I've seen a lot of other women do with their swim goggles. Personally, if you're a guy and you're really worried about your swim goggles flying off in your race, I actually competed with my goggles under my cap. So the way you do this is get your goggles on, get them all situated, and honestly, you have to be able to put on your cap very fast in order to pull this off. So you put your goggles on, and then back, forward, and then put your cap on after that, okay? So now your goggle straps are under the swim cap. They're nice and secure. Ladies, if you want to do this, you're going to have to wear 2 caps. So wear 1 swim cap, put your goggles on, put your racing swim cap on. Usually racing swim caps are a lot thinner. They're kind of a cheaper silicone just because they mass print them. So like for instance, this Zoot cap, this is actually a slightly thicker silicone than your other swim caps. So this is a pro swim hack right here. So the goggles are underneath the cap. They help keep the goggles on a lot better. I have never had my goggles blow off me during a race in college when I wore my cap like this. So that is the cap. Not really much to it. Rubber, silicone, you can't really go wrong. Rubber just doesn't stretch as much as silicone. So if you have a huge head or if you have a ton of hair, very much so recommended silicones. They're going to run, silicone caps run about $12, 10 to $12. Whereas if you buy a, just a standard rubber swim cap, that's only going to run you maybe about $1 to $5. Okay. So one other thing, an honorable mention that I want to talk about, is this Finis Tempo, Trainer Pro. So this is a metronome. So what this does is if you want to hit a certain strokes per minute, this is a pricey little gadget. So if you want to hit a certain strokes per minute, this is a great way to both drive you insane and do that. I used one of these in college. I hated it. So what you do is you wear a swim cap, you tuck this up under you get it set up to your strokes per minute that you want, and then tuck it in, and it's going to go boop, 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 boop. And it's basically a metronome for swimming. So if you really want to dial in your stroke, this is a really good way to do it. So I recommend, this one shows it on your goggles. I recommend shoving it under the swim cap. But yeah, this is an underwater metronome. This is something I can recommend. I have used it before. It drove me bonkers, but it really helped me kind of hone my stroke tempo when I was swimming distance sets. So this is a gimmick that I can actually really recommend. But other than that, the only other training aid that I can think of are the floaty pants. I personally do not use floaty pants that often. I might be using them more during the winter just because it's cold and I want a little more, I really want a little bit more warmth when I'm doing my swim lessons. But floaty pants, these are used for recovery only, 100%. If you are really working on stroke technique, not a terrible idea to also add in the floaty pants alongside a pull buoy if you're kind of doing a more pull focused workout. But Zoot sells these. I like them. They're fun. Not a serious training aid, not a you need this in order to really swim faster. I mean, more for recovery than anything else. Okay, so I have gone way over time today. This is a long one, but this is probably going to be your most comprehensive guide to training aids that you will ever see. So thank you very much, Zoot, for allowing me to do this broadcast. I got to get out of here. I got to get my kids ready for the day. But any questions whatsoever, ferrellswimtech@gmail.com. Follow Rumble and YouTube. Any questions, send me an email. If you want to do an in-person lesson and you live in Los Angeles, San Bernardino, Orange County, even San Diego County, I've had people drive up from San Diego for swim lessons. Just send me an email. I'd love to meet you. I've already met one fantastic individual from Team Zoot. We had a really good lesson last week. Yeah, virtual stroke technique lessons. Shoot me an email as well as any other swim questions that you may have. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Keep training, everyone. I know we're getting into the off season. Check these technique videos. Work on your technique. You are going to have a much better season if you do. That's it for me, everyone. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Until later, my friends. Good night, Isaiah Norris. Wherever you are, I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.